It is becoming increasingly difficult to impress us, or the consumer, with something innovative in the enclosure market. This space is already filled with variety, and so the price, in my opinion, may be the one key competitive component for any brand. What's up guys, I'm Dimitri with Canucks. Welcome to another video. Make sure to stay till the end because we have a very exciting and a little surprise coming your way. So on the review table today is the latest case from Corsair, the Carbide 600C, bringing us inverted motherboard layout, which has its benefits and drawbacks, and priced at $150 for both the windowed and the silent versions. It is a compelling full tower, one that may encourage someone to experiment with this new layout, so let's see if it's all worth it. Physical tour first. Just by looking at this case from the sidelights, it's actually kind of difficult to distinguish it as a Corsair chassis, unless you notice the small Corsair logo in the bottom right corner, and you might recognize the plastic side panels that was also found on the 760T. From a physical standpoint, I love the glass quote-unquote look of this panel, but for quality junkies out there, this might not pass. First, you can notice the plastic color difference at certain angles around the handle, and you can see it here on video from the slightly higher angle. I personally don't mind it. It's a very flexible panel given the rest of the frame is absolutely solid, and it actually reduces the weight of an already elephant case, which makes removal from its hinges that much easier, and the same goes for reinstallation. The rest of the case is very minimal, with a solid top panel where you find the I/O with 4 USB ports, chrome audio jacks, illuminated power button and a reset button, plus a 3-speed fan controller for 3 fans, which are meant to complement the 3 fans included with the 600C. The front continues in the same format as the top, but with a visible separated door that opens to reveal dual 5¼ inch drive bays. Now this metallic coating on the panel looks awesome, but any handling will be visible, so casual cleaning is required. Behind the panel we find a securely attached dust filter that covers every single millimeter of that intake, which is awesome, and the filter is dense enough to catch particles without interfering with the airflow. Here we see two 140mm intake fans with spots for dual 120mm as well, mounted on strips for extra flexibility, and notice the front panel gap is wide enough for air to enter without any interference. Given the inverted ATX layout, the power supply is at the top, followed by 8 PCI slots and a third 140mm fan, and the 600C purposely stands on tall case feet that allows adequate room for either exhaust or intake for the cooling installation on the floor, which can house triple 120mm fans or dual 140mm with their respective radiator sizes. Removing the back panel, here's where you'll be installing your drives and handling all the cable management. So first we have 3 SSD caddies that are toolless and 2 3.5-inch drive brackets right above that. But that's it. On the one hand, I'm pretty disappointed with the limited storage options for this massive enclosure. Just look at it side to side to something like the H440. The 600C is way too wide to not offer any more storage options. And there's no additional drive cage options for the interior, and that can be seen as a negative. Now, on the flip side of that coin, perhaps this limitation is a benefit and maybe encouraging users to acquire larger capacity drives and sticking with less drives in total. But I still would have liked to see a drive cage of some sort on the inside, which from this view is very basic with large rubber grommets and a really open layout. And bam, this is the finished system inside the Corsair 600C, which was an easy breezy to assemble due to nothing being on the way and the power supply being inside its own chamber at the top. You can see just how much room there is from our 10.5-inch card till the front fans, so fitting a radiator on there and push-pull configuration will not be a problem. Plus there's nothing restricting airflow entrance, which makes cool air delivery that much more effective. The top chamber has this angular piece that extends beyond the power supply, which is installed with the fan facing down to intake air from the main chamber for exhaust, and you can see the 2 drive caddies here that are somewhat exposed for cooling. My H105 cooler went on the floor with fans set to exhaust, which is a good looking setup, but here's the thing, with everything inverted, you may not like the non-inverted elements of your hardware like the text on the GPU and some smaller text on the motherboard. The GPU block can be rotated easily to display correctly, but this is something you'll have to live with this type of layout. For cable management, it seems like you have a lot of room to work with, but not enough cable tie hoops around the SSD brackets to cleanly route all the cables into that one corner grommet. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, but there seems to be more work here than expected. Again, just because of the enclosure seems to offer so much room and because it's so wide. But in reality, it's not as easy to work in as expected. Now, I wanted to do temperature tests to see if there would be any difference between this inverted layout versus a more standard ATX layout. So I ran my idle and stress tests on the CPU and the GPU, literally just flip the case around and it looks more familiar and in line to 95% of the cases out there to find that the standard ATX layout is 1 degree cooler than the default orientation of the case, which is kind of strange. 1 degree difference is not significant, but then you would have the window on the right, so the computer can be on your left. And so in the end, I don't mind this inverted motherboard layout at all. The case is well equipped against dust and all types of hardware and water cooling, but I simply don't see a unique factor here aside from the massive side panel. I wish we had more drive slots, perhaps a thinner frame, but it's actually pretty clear that the case favors more advanced water cooling setups. I wish we also had more cable management options. I mean, only 3 cable tie points, that's not enough for what this aims to achieve. At the end of the day, the Carbide 600C is one of the options if you want the case on your left so the components are visible, but it's really up to you to decide if you see this inverted layout as a benefit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Make sure to go Corsair on that like button. And now onto the exciting surprise. So we've teamed up with MassDrop to give one of you guys a really awesome gift with the holidays coming up. The 34-inch ultra-wide IPS curved monitor, the LG 34 UC97S. So all you have to do is sign up to MassDrop using the link in the description below. And everybody who is already signed up via that link will be included in the draw. The winner will be selected a week from today and MassDrop will contact you directly. Happy holidays.